This is Moxie Cola. This is Moxie Swift.
Hi.
And this is Moxie, stupid good tools for freelancers. What's up, LTD addicts? It's time for another lifetime deal review. And I've been hearing all about this product, Moxie, all over the internet. And since my daughter is also named Moxie, you might remember her from one of my very first videos way back in the day, I figured this is the perfect opportunity to check out what all the buzz is about. And to be honest, the last video Moxie was in was one of my highest viewed videos ever. So let's try it again. So here it is, Moxie over on AppSumo. We're gonna scroll right down to the plan details here. As I mentioned in the intro, this is a set of tools for freelancers to make the back end of your life, the administration part, a lot easier. We're gonna check it out together in this video. I'm not endorsing it yet. By the end, I should have a pretty good idea whether or not I think this is a reliable platform. So essentially here, what we're getting, a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 license, depending on the size of your company, or in AppSumo speak, depending on the aspirational size of your company. If you are a solopreneur, which these days with AI, you can get a lot done all by yourself. You can get a single seat here for just 39 bucks. You can get a tier 2, which increases you from 1 seat to 10 seats for just 60 bucks more. And if you add in another, what is that, $90, you can go up to 25 seats. So that should really cover most businesses that could really operate without more grandiose type of infrastructure. Important to note here that we do get custom branding as well as white labeling at every single price point. This is an unusual move for an AppSumo deal. Typically, they'll reserve these to the higher tiers to encourage people to spend a little bit more money. So it's nice to see they did that. Now, the words custom branding and white labeling mean very similar things to me, so I'll be interested to see what exactly that means. My hope is that we can have our own custom URL, a CNAME record, so to speak, but I don't see anything about that in the comments, so we'll find out in a bit. Today's video is sponsored by me. I created a course called Ghost 5 Mastery. At the end of this video, I'll tell you all about it and how you can save 50% if you pre-order. All right, I just went ahead and grabbed my code. I did just elect for the single code so far. I might consider upgrading if necessary, but I'm gonna go ahead and enter in my details here and I'll see you in the front end. It's worth noting that this is one of those AppSumo deals that automatically kicks you over to the platform. No codes, no copying, pasting. It's really cool when they do this. It seems to work very well. There's a custom landing page here. It says, welcome Sumo Link. Little update as I was filling out the form. It was nice to see that they actually have customized the homepage a little bit. Nice touch. We're off to a good start. So if this is how they're going to treat us as a customer, hopefully the software is going to reflect that similarly towards our customers as they engage with it. I got to say that picking software that you're going to use for your customers to use is super critical, because if you pick stuff with a bad UI, it's overly technical, or is just cluttered looking like a lot of these applications tend to be, it can make people not want to work with you. So this is very, very sensitive in my opinion. Okay, they're asking if I want them to upload sample data. I guess it's nice that they're asking. Let's say yes here. And so we have something to work with. Let's go. And there we go. We are in Moxie. All right, so I'm coming in here completely cold. I've not watched anything about this product, so you're gonna be learning along with me. Luckily, I've had a lot of experience with tools like this, and I already kind of feel at home. So we got this left-hand sidebar here, and it looks like it's gonna be a CRM, right? So I can find my clients here, and they've imported one client for me already. Let's open this up and see what there is. So here's an overview of everything going on with this client. So we've got their contact info over here on the left, as well as some payment terms. All right, so this looks really nice. We can go ahead and check out their invoices here. So it looks like we've invoiced this pretend client 5 times. This one has been sent but not paid. These others have been paid, although this one is a dollar amount 0. So let's open up one of the paid invoices. All right, these look nice and professional. You could easily, send this out and feel confident, nice and clean. I like that it's not like overly decorated. It's one thing a lot of the freelancing apps tend to do is like try to make you look very Etsy-ish. Is that a good word to explain it? This looks pretty clean, so I like this so far. Options up here to duplicate the invoice. So if you send off similar invoices, but maybe not reoccurring, that would be something you could do. You could also put this in a draft state or copy the online URL. I'm gonna do that. Let's see what it looks like. I wonder how that's different from just clicking share here. What does the share do? Send as an email or download the PDF. Interesting that you wouldn't put the copy URL in the share area. So UI wise, this just gives me slightly wonky feels. It's not bad, but there's something about like the little amount of padding at the bottom here, but just subconsciously, these are the little things that say, oh, This product was made by a developer. All right, let's open up a new window here, and I'm actually going to load up this public URL. All right, it looks exactly the same as we saw on our end, except the options at the top are gone, and there's a download button. Clients want to download PDFs. That is a normal thing, so looking pretty good here. Oh, look at this. It's not even just a straight PDF. There are some links here, so we can open this up and you can see the invoice. So if you do bill hourly, this is going to be a really sweet feature. Looking really nice. Now, I don't really do any hourly work. I do kind of more flat rate projects, but I did notice, let's go back out to the UI here, is there is a clock right on the top here. So if you do hourly work, you can easily track your time from right within Moxie. Let's go ahead and hit that little toggle here. Now, little UI glitch here is it's going right off the screen, right? So that's not off to a great start, but it looks like you could see kind of a log of all the time you've tracked. It doesn't look like we're missing much here. My screen is wide too. It's not like I'm on a laptop screen here. This is a nice big display. So a little UI glitch. And if I wanted to start the timer, I think I just hit this right here and I can assign it to a particular client. All right, this is nice. Let's choose a project if we're working on a particular project for a client. And you can even get down to the task level and leave some notes. Okay, so it looks like the time tracking is very well done. And notice it's going already, right? So they're starting to track time even before you've decided on exactly what it is that you're tracking. All right, I'm gonna hit the trash can on this because I don't want to save it. All right, cool, looking good. Continuing to look at the client here, let's go over to their deposits. Basically, this is gonna be the money that you have received maybe in advance. Let's open this up and deposit for services. All right, looking good. This is kind of very similar to the invoice that we saw. I wonder how the difference is here. So we see a payment method, payments applied, $65. Doesn't say what the payment was, so it's probably supposed to be from that deposit. Just kind of thinking like the workflow, how you go through this. Inbox, so we can communicate with them. So if we wanted to send them a message, we can hit the plus button up here, do an email. It looks like we have to connect up our email. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so this has taken me to a screen to connect up my email. I can hit add new email account and sign in with Google. Looks like it works with just about anything. That is really nice to see. So if you're using Apple iCloud, the Microsoft stuff, even Yahoo or your own kind of custom IMAP stuff, really nice to see. I happen to be using Fastmail these days. I'm trying to get away from the Google services as best I can. I still have a G Suite account, but yeah, so nice. I'll be able to connect up with Fastmail, no problem here. Under phone, it says, sorry, this feature is not available. I don't know why. It doesn't really give me any information here. So why does it exist? I don't know. And under requests and tickets, we do have an email address here. So what you could do is take your G Suite account or Fastmail and set it up to automatically forward email from, let's say, like support@yourcompany.com. You set up any emails that go there to automatically forward to the email address you get right here. And then contact from your clients that go to support will go to the shared inbox, which is right over here. All right, so we've got an inbox for our clients, so we can see maybe just the correspondence with that client. And then we also have the overall inbox on the left-hand sidebar. All right, looking pretty good. We have a timesheet right here. I assume all of our time tracking is gonna go right into that. Let's test it out. Let's go ahead and start something for Moxie here. We'll just go ahead and save 3 seconds. All right, so if I stop the time tracker, there it goes, it updated automatically. Perfect, that is what I wanted to see, whether it would kind of live update or whether I'd have to refresh the page. All right, the next 4 options here are agreements, forms, meetings, and opportunities. So agreements would be, I assume, like signed proposals. There is an agreement section over here. Yep, there we go, proposals. So I can open this up and I could, send this agreement out to a client. Once they agree to it, it's gonna live in their client inbox. So it would be found right over here. Now, Moxie Inc. does not have any signed agreements right now, so we're not seeing anything, but we can go over here and see all of the agreements that we've ever sent out. Now, very interestingly, if I wanted to create a copy of this, so this was sent to Moxie Inc., right? And it's fully executed, it looks like. So if I wanted to do this contract again, let's say it's like an annual contract you send out over and over again to a company, it doesn't look like there's any way to duplicate this. There's the triple dots. I can create a new project or create a template. Let's try to do this. Okay, we're gonna save this as a template, web design template, and hit save. Oh, perfect, this is exactly what I wanted. So now, if I go to create a new agreement, I can choose a client and hit continue, and we're gonna do a proposal. And now how do I load my template? This is the type of stuff that I want to be absolutely obvious, right? I don't want to be thinking about how can I save a template and then how do I actually use the template that I saved? Oh, here it is. So it looks like these are kind of like their templates. So a proposal, contract, or quote. And then at the bottom, it says start from your library. I missed that. So user error, but I do think once you choose to start a proposal, it would not be a bad idea to say, choose one of my templates, but that's not how they chose to do it. So I can use this one. I can start from here. If I close it out, there is my template that I spun up basically a new proposal from. That is very important. So as you're sending out proposals, you definitely want to be customizing them, but you have to have a starting place to work from. I actually did an entire course on proposals. It's available for free on Skilljet. So check that out if you have access to that platform. I'll drop a link to that course down below. But creating a template for proposals can make you look super professional. If people ask for a quote and you can spin out something that looks really good very quickly, that can be very, very impressive and get people to actually want to work with you. So the actual proposal itself looks fairly standard here. We got a nice header image, then some text, and then we can add in some deliverables and then actually have people sign it at the bottom. So let's go ahead and sign, see what this looks like. So it says sign before sending. I can click here and then it says type signature, or I can draw the signature, and I can do that with my mouse. So you get the point here. I can type your name underneath it. Dave Swift, video creator. All right. And let's sign and accept. And there it is. Looks pretty good. Font settings here, we can choose, looks like they got a decent selection of fonts to choose from, probably mostly like Google fonts and stuff. So let's see if the trendy ones are there, things like Inter, and there it is. Inter looks good. So this is just a nice little block editor. I can add in a new block here. Text block, file attachment, image with caption, image centered, and then some contract terms. Let's do this. Oh, that looks good. So nice little template of contract terms. I always add this at the end of the proposal. And then depending on the size of the proposal, you might get away with not actually having a standalone contract. If you just say like, here's the proposal. If this sounds good, sign it. These are the terms attached, and you have everything kind of all in once. And then you can go right to billing and get started on work. So what I would probably do is like bring this down. So moving stuff down is kind of a pain, right? So we got to click and then it moves. I got to scroll. All right, I'd probably put this right above the signatures. So prices and then the terms, and then you can go ahead and sign. Cool. I think this looks like a fairly solid proposal tool, nice and clean, not overly complicated. I could see myself using this for sure. There's a commenting system, so you can leave comments here on the proposal. You can either make it a private comment or something public so that the client can actually see it, like, hey, this is what we talked about. And then the comments kind of live up here and you see a little scroll. So people have questions, you can do kind of an inline conversation. It's not chat, but you could do like a little inline conversation right inside of the proposal. So that's cool. Let's see what the public URL looks like. So let's click share, finalize and share agreement, finalize, share link. So there are the links in the share button. So like those are the types of like consistency things I'm looking for from a UI perspective. So here's what it would look like from the client's point of view, right? So you just send them the link, which you can do directly from the interface there. And then they can go ahead and leave comments and be like, way too much money. All right, there we go. So click away. How do we get out of this? All right, there it is. Overall, yeah, looks good. I can go ahead and sign as the client here. They can just type in their name, choose a font. That one's like not even readable. All right, Mr. Moneybags, sign and accept. Then back on our end, let's refresh. And it says fully executed now. And there it is, our signed contract. Nice that it gives you an IP stamp here and a location. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that before in a proposal tool. Now I do notice down here, it says favorites, and I can't click it right now. And I assume that's because I need to make a client a favorite. And there we go. So if you have like 2 or 3 huge clients that are like the focus of your life, you can add them right to the left-hand sidebar here. Pretty sweet. I like this. Before we looked at deposits and we could see like all of the income or the invoices as well, all of the money going into the business. And that is available over here under accounting as well. So it's basically, you can think about this is really just like one giant pool of data, and we can sort by a particular client by going into the client section here, and we have almost all of the same information available to us. Or if we want to see kind of all of our clients at a bird's eye view, we can use the left-hand sidebar, and that'll allow us to see kind of the general health of our business. So how much income is coming in, what do we have due, how long are people taking to pay? That's really cool to see. So at the top here, we can sort between invoices, payments and income, expenses. So that's nice. You can log expenses here, vendors if you have them, and then run some reports. What is the overall health of our company? Looks like May was pretty good, June not as good, and so far July needs a little bit of work. All right, we're going to check out the pipeline here in a second, but I want to finish up with timesheets because we've talked a little bit about the time tracking. So under the timesheets section here, I can see which clients are getting the most amount of time. But if you're using this for employees as well, you can use this to track how much your employees are working. So we can go under here, choose the user that's actually working. So how many hours has this user or employee been working, and then hit done, and you'll see just the, everything here is under my user, but you can sort it so that you'd only see a particular employee of yours to see if they're being productive. You'd be able to sort whether they're doing billed hours or unbilled hours. That'd be something very, very critical to the profitability of a business. This would be great for like web designers. I do more reoccurring kind of packages these days, the subscription design joy type of idea. But if you are still doing the old school agency model where you're getting custom website designs, doing these large projects, a tool like this is really going to be invaluable. I could really see it working for just about any service industry. If you're doing, let's say, lawn care where you're doing landscaping and you need to invoice people, a tool like this is going to be fantastic. Put together a big proposal to remodel someone's backyard and add in some trees and some decorative plants and things like that. Totally would work. This is the world we're living in now. People start businesses like that and they still need to have the technology to keep up with the larger players. It kind of evens the playing field. I think that's awesome. We got to check out this pipeline, the sales pipeline. Right now I don't have any opportunities, so I'll definitely do this. And also I'm curious, how are we getting paid? So I'm gonna guess that's over inside of my profile here. Go to my profile. Delete account, workspaces. So you could add like another company. That's pretty cool. What's your business called? Where are they located? Yep. So it would just like allow me to switch between different profiles. But where do I go ahead and connect any sort of payment processor? I think I read online that it works with Stripe. All right, right down here, workspace settings. I think this is where it's going to be. There we go. This is everything. Stripe payments right here. I'm also curious about meetings. We need to figure that out as well because there's this on the homepage. Check this out. This homepage is pretty nice. We can quickly add any of these icons. Now, I wish the name of what it's going to do was present because you can hover over it and it tells you. Don't do that. Just tell me. Just put client, project, agreement so that I don't have to which one is it? Because these icons are not super descriptive, but they look pretty good. So anyway. There's this little option over here, quick links, meeting schedulers. So you can actually have meetings logged in your clients. We saw that before. Right over here, it says meetings, but there aren't any meetings scheduled. And if I click over here, there's no way to schedule a meeting from this section. So we got to check that out. First, let's finish up with our Stripe settings. So we can go over here and we go to Stripe payments, connect with Stripe. We can either sign up with a new account with Stripe or we can connect with Stripe right here. This is going to be a fairly simple Stripe integration. I got a few things to say here. Connecting with Stripe is very easy. They do a wonderful job of just clicking a button and then typically you say yes and then you go back to the application and it works like really, really reliably. That's why Stripe is huge and is everywhere. Second thing to say is I know there's been a lot of fear because there was a pretty prominent story recently about people getting their account hacked from Stripe. That is not really an issue. That's an issue if you use an insecure plugin on a platform like WordPress where the keys are exposed. Then you're in trouble. So be very, very cautious about the software you use that integrate with Stripe. But in general, it's not something to be overly freaked out about or avoid using Stripe. I would say you're better off using one of the mainstream payment processors. You're going to have a lot more security and reliability, and there's going to be a lot more oversight with one of these providers than just finding some small crypto thing in the dark corners of the web because you don't trust Stripe. They're the bad guys. I think they charge a pretty reasonable fee. I know they've been creeping up with refunds and stuff lately, but overall I'm happy that Stripe works. Looks like you can enable ACH payments so people can pay you directly from their bank account. Nice to see. I'm not going to connect Stripe in this video, not because of any of the reasons that I said, being secured, worried about security. It's just, I'm going to make sure that I want to use this application before I go ahead and, seal the deal up with Stripe. All right. So we got to get back to our workspace settings here. There's a bunch of stuff that I still want to get to. Meeting schedulers. Let's check this out. How does this work? So sample 30-minute meeting. And open this up. Let's view the details. Is this going to replace a Calendly type of service? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So in the overview screen here, we get a meeting name, the duration, location, and cool. You can choose things like Zoom or Meet. on phone in, phone out. Really great. So let's see how we'd actually probably configure. Looks like we probably have to add those integrations first. So let's go to connected apps. We'll connect up Zoom. All right, just a couple clicks there. I got Zoom connected. Now let's go back out, close this window, and we're gonna go back out into our workspace settings and our meeting schedulers. I'm gonna edit this one. I can duplicate it if you just wanna make a small modification, or you can just add a new one up here. Although it's asking me if I want to remove my sample data, which I do not want to do yet. So I'm just going to open up this one and edit it. All right, so we can add our name here, choose our location. Now I can connect to Zoom. And then I can choose the calendar. So I can also connect my calendar, which I haven't done yet. Direct meeting link. So that's really cool. Schedule owner and add to pipeline. So we can actually add this to our pipeline, which we have not checked out yet. So this was like a pre-sales, first time meeting discovery call type of thing. We could add it to an inquiry stage, which I'm sure we can customize that. Make the link active, add it to the portal. Can choose our availability here. This is really looking like it's going to be kind of a Calendly replacement type of thing. We can require payment here. So that's great. If you want to do kind of like a coaching business over Zoom or something like that, you could, or a consulting business, you could add payments and then preview it. All right, let's add this. Let's see, direct link to your scheduler, or we can embed it to our website. All right, I'm gonna do the direct link for now. Let's open this up. Dude, this is killer. This looks amazing. I'm super impressed. Let's see how it works. So schedule a time, confirm, add my name. All right, schedule a meeting. And here I can add it right to my calendar, and it said it sent me an email. Okay, so I'm gonna close out of this setting, and let's go back to our homepage here. And sure enough, we have our sample 30-minute meeting scheduler shows up over here on the right-hand sidebar. So we could see all of our meetings for the day. It would be nice if we could see maybe like a weekly view. It doesn't look like that is an option. But overall, you log into your dashboard, look, do I have any meetings today? What tasks are due coming up the next week? This is, I'm kind of blown away at how thorough this is. And as you notice, I'm clicking around. Everything's super fast. This is very impressive. All right, let's check out the pipeline. I'm also curious about whether or not I can bill people in a reoccurring fashion. All right, so here's our pipeline, right? We got this meeting coming up, and what we can do is actually, we can change this to a Kanban layout, and here are our different stages of our pipeline. Can open, let's see, can I edit these at all? Pipeline settings in the workspace settings. I love it. I'm not looking at any manuals or any docs or anything. 9 times out of 10, I'm able to just figure out exactly, oh, okay, this is what it's thinking. It's gonna be in the settings here. Sure enough, there it is. Now, when I'm in the pipeline here, would it kill them to add a little gear icon that takes me right to the settings? Probably not, but I'm starting to learn their language, and it's not completely nonsensical like I've seen in other similar apps, to be honest. So workspace settings, pipeline settings. Here we go. We can change the label. So I can just type in here anything I want and then give it the stage type that it is. We can also change the highlight color. Only a small selection of colors here. Do hexadecimal, let me just choose exactly what I want. I prefer that, but because like I don't really care for this tonality of color. It kind of blurs together in my brain because it's all so vibrant. But I love it's here. That you can easily remove stages if you want. So if I want to get rid of the meeting stage, I can get rid of that. Overall, the pipeline looks really good. We can add custom fields here as well. So if you want to have like, particular to your business, let's say like when you know the size of their yard, if we're doing landscaping, we can ask them that, fill it in the onboarding meeting, something like that. Looks like we add an icon, field name, yard size, different text. So we can choose any of these. Let's say it's numeric, and then we can actually have some options. Let's see if we do select. We could add options, I suppose. Yep, there we go. So much to cover here. I feel like we've gotten most of these taken care of. Let's check out what other apps it connects with. So these are our calendar and meetings. This is going to be the major players. Payment providers, we can do PayPal as well as Stripe. So that's nice to see. Accounting, you can send this right out to Xero, which would be the recommendation that I would make. And then integrations, it can work with Zapier. So that's pretty cool too. Now we can add products and services here. So could I make a reoccurring service? Let's do that. Let's go plus. And we're gonna do, web care, default rates, $5,000 a month because design joy. And then we can add our currency, which is strange because we already set our default currency earlier, dollar. And I can't find the currency that I want. US dollar, there it is. Add a new rate. So this is billed by the hour. Default rate, new rate. All right, so we'll get rid of this. Save. It does not look like it supports reoccurring services at this point, but maybe that's something you can do in terms of like setting up a reoccurring, invoice or something like that. Let's find that out. So if we go to invoices, hit plus, new invoice, recurring. There we go. Boom. So we can do a start date and an end date. If we don't put an end date, it'll just go on forever. Our reoccurring options are days, weeks, months, and years. So let's add this, and we can add our new line item, our web care service. There you go. Now you have a reoccurring monthly $5,000 a month web care service. So under accounting, if we go to invoices, we will see that invoice that we just created, which is right here. It's still in draft mode. I haven't published it. And from there, I could duplicate it. Now, what I really like is that I can open this up and I can actually send it in an email directly to a customer. Now, to go even further, what would be awesome is if people could sign up online and not have to do a meeting, not have to go through any sort of, just keeping the contact as low as possible. It doesn't look like there's any way to do that, to have like a checkout option, which is what I prefer, but we're really close to it. And there's no reason it couldn't exist if the developers wanted to add that. All right, we are gonna go over forms, but before we do that, we're gonna check out the templates. So I already added a template for an agreement here, right? You saw me create that. We could create a project template. So if you're providing the same service over and over again, create a project template right here. We haven't really looked at projects. We should probably do that. Our email templates. So if you have reoccurring emails that you send out when people sign up, things like that. And then invoices. So we can actually make an invoice a template. I'm going to stay on the invoice subject for a second here. Let's go to accounting and let's add this. Let's see, how could we add this as a template? This is our $5,000 a month. Maybe I didn't save let's add new line item. Here's our service. And then up here, nope, no options for template. Save. Small little consistency things in the UI. Like, all right, I want to make this a template. I've saved it. I got 2 of them now. I'm not sure how that happened. Let's go to one of the existing ones. Can I save this as a template? No, I can't. We do get a lot of data here. You can see a history when it was paid in full. I can click here and get any activity on it, invoice payment history. But yeah, no way that I can see to create a template for an invoice, but maybe you just do that right under templates. So workspace settings, templates, invoices, and then here you go. You can add a new template right there and set it as a default. Okay, so our workflow is we schedule a meeting, right? We set up how to do that. We can embed that right on our website. The meeting turns into, let's say, a proposal, an agreement in Moxie speak. Agreement becomes a client, right? Now they're a client once they have signed the agreement. And then from there, we'll create our first project. So the project is basically a list of the tasks that you're going to be doing for how much they're paying. We can see an overview of the project. We can do tasks here, seeing exactly what deliverables we're going to be providing, invoices related to this project, and then timesheets related to this project. So these last 2 things, they should make sense by now because we saw invoices can be tied to a specific project when we created one over here, right? So we did accounting, invoices, and then right here, we can tie this to a specific project, right? Tracked or billable projects. And then the time tracking, of course, when we click the play button, we can choose a specific project that we're working on. Now, in our workspace settings, we do have this form builder here, which is still a bit of an enigma to me because under clients, you go into the client, we have forms, and the forms are related to the client. So I assume this would be a way to gather information from a client rather than a typical form that you put on your website to say like, contact me. So let's go ahead and I'm going to open up the form builder and create a form. So it starts with just a checkbox. There's no templates for us out of the gates. I want to add in some inputs here. I'll do a date selector, just drag and drop, kind of wonky. Not my favorite form builder. You can see I'm struggling here. There we go. Select box. Again, it doesn't want to pick it. All right, so there's our form. Let's go ahead and save it. We'll share it. Oh, we can embed it directly on our website. So we could build a contact form. Dude, so this is replacing forms, Calendly. I mean, what can't you do here? This is kind of stunning. We still need to see what it looks like from a client perspective, but overall, what did I spend? $39 on this? My only fear is like that it's a lifetime deal, honestly, because it's pretty good. And if you build your entire business here, like this is gonna be a lot of work to recreate on other platforms. All right, so how does the form tie into a specific client then? Let's go under clients and forms. No forms yet. Let's send a form, sample discovery form. All right, yeah, so it does have a sample here. And then we can go ahead and send this to our specific client. Let's send it. And I'm just gonna do the share link because I haven't connected my email yet. Copy link. So I send an email to my client and then they get this and they can fill it out. Now, ugly form, ugly as sin. Like this is way too long. I wonder if there's a way to adjust this. Max width right here. All right, that's it. Like people, like 600 maybe, 650, but like how much more readable is that right away? The spacing here is still quite ugly. I wonder if there's any way to space things apart. These things are important, right? Because this is going to represent your business to your potential customers. And so do you want it to look like you do sloppy work? There we do have a spacer. As you see, I'm dragging it in, not super easily, but I can drag it in. There we go. Okay, so this has been the worst part of the process so far, is this builder. But I can change the height here, maybe. There we go. Yeah, I can add quite a bit of space if I want. All right, so I got the feature I wanted. Maybe it needs a little bit of work, a little polish. Overall, the whole app has that I was built by a developer feel, albeit a developer with some decent design touch. And if they're, if the designer watches this video and I'm saying like, it looks like a developer made it, I'm sorry. I don't know the pains that go into making something like this. I just know that like most designers aren't going to do things like full width edge to edge like this, or be able to live with themselves at night, knowing that when they click on this, oh, now it's different. This is a different look. Remember before this was like going off of the view. If I go back to home, does it look, maybe it's because I'm recording. Let's stop recording. Open up now. Oh, well, that's bizarre. I don't know. Was doing it earlier. Okay, the last thing we need to do is see what this looks like from a client point of view. So how do we log in as a client? Let's do that right now. I'm adding myself as a client, hitting save. Creating clients in sample mode is not supported. All right, so it's time to leave sample mode, I think. Clear sample data, and now we will add a new client. See, there it is. Told you. No designer I know could like sleep at night knowing that this looks this way. So we do have settings for the client portal. And again, like just edge to edge, no margins, no like max width or anything here. So we can add a favicon, change our colors, add a company logo, and what is this? Dark mode. Okay, so we have light mode, dark mode. I'm just gonna add this logo in here for a totally unrelated company. Let's see, let's change the nav bar color. I wanna make it white F, there we go. It's confusing me because that's gray, but it's actually white. And then from our primary color, I'm gonna make it like lighter blue. You can add hexadecimal colors here. That's a nice touch, although the UI is going outside of the window. All right, I can add a favicon, I can set my font. Whether it's coincidence that I went to enter or it remembered what I chose earlier, I'm not really sure. We have a login screen here. We can customize. Ooh, I'm not liking this. Look at that. The preview is not super good. Login position left. Let's do login position center. Even this, very like Windows 95 looking. I mean, the backdrop doesn't help, but can I just make search login screen background image? I can't set my own, huh? Can't just do like black, white. All right, so not super impressed with this. Just like all these cheesy things. So it's just using Unsplash here. We can add a custom domain. That's awesome. So you can do like portal.yourcompany. You have to add a CNAME going to this record right here. I've done that in like 15 different videos, probably more than that over the years. So I'm gonna skip that for now. But if anyone wants to know how to do that, drop me a message, drop me a comment down below, and I'll let you know how it works. And then we got custom email over here. So this is client portal settings, right? A little confused about how this would be different from just using like the communicator settings, which is a weird, just say like, I don't know, communication settings. So I'm not really super clear on that. But for now, we got to get into this portal. So how do we get into the portal? All right, over in domains, if we don't set up our own custom portal, there's a URL right up here. And here is what it looks like. Wow. All right, so zero padding, just sticks it like right on the corner of the window. I guess I didn't save my customization. So let's go to that login screen again. Let's move it to the center and we'll change to maybe this starry night. All right, save and let's reload. A little better. I mean, it still has like some Windows 95 feel, right? But a little better. All right, I thought I added myself as a client, but you know what? Maybe I got distracted. Let's go back to clients here and we'll add a new one. So client amp, my web design business. I'm gonna go ahead and just add the email address in and we'll hit save. Okay, so nothing going on in this client because we just created it. But now if I go back out here and I try to sign in, it still says no user with that email. Let's try the reload. Magic link, no user. There's a view portal button here, which I can open up and see what it looks like for the client in the portal. So here we can see our invoices, time worked, projects. But anyway, I was saying it's a little weird how this is all dark here and then this gets light. Just an interesting, with the rounded corners, an interesting UI look. Not something I'd be super thrilled about having my clients see. Conversely, this is my real live actual client portal. I'm logged in as like a dummy account right now, but you can see like you can make a request so that you get support. You can log in, see the services that we have available, actually purchase them and sign up right here. I'm using many requests for this. I've got a dedicated video on this. Much more expensive, hundreds of dollars per month for the level that we're on. But you can get in, I think, for around $50 a month. However, that's per month. And what we've been seeing for Moxie is, substantially more. However, this is designed for a productized service. So I definitely wouldn't move away from this for what we're doing. We have messaging, we can chat with people. There's all sorts of, you can add your own custom links to the sidebar. So mini requests, still awesome, loving it. I think it's around a year that we've been using it. Overall, they just launched version 2, which is what you're seeing right here. Overall, mini requests is awesome, but much, much more expensive. But you can just see the difference in the UI, right? So this is Moxie. Kind of feels like cheap, it's not bad, but it's just not quite as crisp as what I'm used to. So here's a list of all of the tasks that have already been done. I can open them up and see everything that happened here. You can attach files. Now there's not a lot going on in these because, like I said, this is a dummy account. This isn't a video to sell you on mini requests. Just the potential for growth is definitely there with Moxie. Today's video is sponsored by me. I created a course called Ghost 5 Mastery. It's all about building a website for the creator economy. Ghost is open source, just like WordPress, but this is opinionated software with features for creators. Ghost can replace closed platforms like Patreon or Substack, so you own your website. You can take control of your audience and make the content that you care about. In Ghost 5 Mastery, we will build out a website from beginning to end. So no matter your experience level, you'll see exactly what you need to do to reach your audience and turn your content into a business. I'll show you how to set up your membership tiers, create a newsletter, protect your content, and even build a high-ticket sales page. This thing is jam-packed. It has 7 modules that take you from beginner to expert level. You'll get 90 plus videos, but every video is very concise and on topic. And I've made every single video transcribed, searchable, and summarized. The course comes out on July 25th. It's gonna be $299, and on launch week, it'll be 30% off. If you pre-order before July 25th, the price is gonna be 50% off, just $149. I'm super proud of this course. It's the best thing that I've ever done. I hope you check it out, and I hope you grow a profitable business with Ghost 5. And now back to the video. Overall, dude, for the price point, this is gonna kill it for so many freelancers in so many different industries. If you're doing a productized service, I don't think it's there yet because you can't have a checkout. You can't have people go through the process of making a purchase, automatically getting enrolled, and then you just start serving them right away. So if you're trying to make your design joy copycat business this weekend, this isn't the service to do it with, but it's really close for a lot of businesses out there that are doing the other types of work. So overall, this is definitely a buy. I would say for the price point, just buy it and save it in case, like your, mother-in-law ever decides to start a business and you need to help with that. Honestly, I might do that because my mother-in-law has a cleaning business. Maybe she wants to start keeping a little better track of her clients. So that is Moxie. Overall, super impressed. Let me know if you have any questions. Happy to answer them down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next